Dr. Miller with the latest on the political developments around the election. I'm just joking. Just joking. I gained 50 subscribers and then I probably lost 50 subscribers. So it all evens out. All right. So let's talk about the real topic of this video, which is home gyms. Been working with a lot of clients, of course, lately that are developing home gyms. So I'm writing their programs for them based on the equipment they have available. And many times the question is, well, what should I get next? Or what would you recommend? Or so on. Now, obviously, I realize this time I'm recording this is in the middle of the COVID-19 or at some point in the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know when the middle is. And so some of this equipment, or if not all of it, is very hard to procure. It's getting better, but it's still hard to find. So I'm going to make this list. I'm going to give you my top 5 pieces of equipment for a home gym. If I was starting a home gym today, and assuming that you're somebody who is not into competitive powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting, Olympic style weightlifting or something like that. I'm just talking about for general fitness. You've either not trained ever before, or you're just getting back into it, or you're just trying to lose some weight or change your body comp, recomposition, all these different type of things. It's not necessarily for a barbell sport. Okay. That's an important distinction, because if you were to say, hey, I want to get into powerlifting, that would change my list. For again, for the non-barbell sport person or sports performance or whatever it may be person, where should you start? Assuming you can find this equipment. If as you go through this list, some of it will make no sense to have without the other things earlier on the list. But if you find, well, I can't get this, but I can get this, then it might be worth taking a look too. I'm not saying I'm perfectly 100% correct, but this is dealing with clients and just looking at my home gym situation and all those types of things. These are probably going to be the most valuable tools for you in terms of this order. Okay, number 1, adjustable dumbbells. Adjustable dumbbells by far are the number 1. And some may argue, well, what about a barbell? What about weights? Well, the barbell and weights typically need a rack, right? So you have to buy another piece of equipment. And the barbell, I'll talk about one thing it does do well, a lot of things well. I love the barbell, but it does limit your exercise selection by itself. It also demands that you know what the heck you're doing with your technique, and can put you in some pretty precarious situations like barbell back squat if you don't know what the heck you're doing. A dumbbell set is a lot more forgiving, even though there's more degrees of freedom when you move. It's a lot more forgiving. You're not going to crush your spine. The dumbbells allow for a tremendous amount of exercise selection. You can also be like, well, most of the adjustable dumbbells may top out at 50 pounds. You're like, well, I'm pretty strong, and 50 pounds is going to top out in like a dumbbell row. Well, you can change tempo. You can do some other exercises. You can change the nature of the exercise, whether through the tempo, through the exercise itself, to make the exercise more intense without doing 75 reps of dumbbell row. Okay. Again, that could be isometric training, could be eccentric training, or it could be both. It could be done in a myo reps format. It could be done in a variety of ways in order to utilize these dumbbells. You can also buy the bigger dumbbell set in addition to one you have. So the 2 brands I've seen used or recommend, I've had more experience with the Powerblock. I haven't had as much experience with the Bowflex, but a lot of clients have had the Bowflex and really found them valuable. From what I have heard and reputation-wise, they've been a good set of dumbbells. I don't want to say I've used them because I haven't. But those are the 2 brands that are the primary ones either I've used, have experience with, or I have clients that used and enjoyed, and they're durable and they're a good value. Now, you could buy a complete dumbbell set. I've seen more of those around than I have the adjustable. So like a full-on commercial gym dumbbell set. But the downside, of course, is they're more expensive. You're probably going to pay double to 2.5 times what you would pay for the adjustables. And the space, like where are you going to put these things, right? And they can have the same problem as the adjustables where you run out of dumbbells. Now, the benefit of having just a regular dumbbell set is they're not as awkward, and that's the downside of the adjustables, is they are a little more awkward to work with, especially if you're used to a conventional dumbbell. That doesn't mean you can't get used to them. It's just they're a little bit more awkward. Lack of a better term, they're just a lot more awkward. A little more awkward. I wouldn't say a lot, but a little awkward. And so it'll take some getting used to. But in terms of space efficiency, good return on your investment in the moment. And also, if one day I always tell people, look, just because you buy this equipment doesn't mean you're married to it forever. You can get rid of it. And so even if it's a non-pandemic time, typically you can get at least 50% of the value of your equipment, if not more. Especially adjustable dumbbells, I would say it's even a little bit higher. And so you can always offload them if you don't want them at some point. Barbell and weights is a little bit harder to, especially the weights are not worth as much in non-pandemic times. Right now, it's like selling gold bullion, right? So number one, adjustable dumbbells. Understanding the downside is they're a little bit awkward to get used to. You do have to be a little bit more gentle with them, but you shouldn't be throwing your dumbbells around anyway. But the upside is so much opportunity for exercise variety. RP, bias alert, I coach for RP, but I get nothing for telling you this. RP has a gym-free program that utilizes no dumbbell, or utilize just dumbbells. That can be a great program for you to utilize along with the dumbbells. That's only like $100. And by the way, any program that you get to, just make sure there's a progression to it. If you don't like RP gym free, fine. Just make sure there's a progression to it. Progression that makes sense for what you want to do. And more than likely, if we're talking about just general fitness, it's going to be more volume focused. Doesn't mean no intensity focus at all, meaning the actual load, but it's going to be more about building volume, more sets in particular, certainly extending reps per set as well. Okay, so number one, adjustable dumbbells for those reasons I just mentioned. Number two would be the barbell and a set of plates. The benefit obviously is, again, you add more opportunities for compound movements, for building strength a little bit more, but certainly building hypertrophy as well. You're just expanding the opportunity to add more intensity to your training. The barbell is typically, you can load it a lot more. Now, with that said, you still have to buy the weights. And so you have to figure out how strong you are if you want a 140 kilo set or you want a 300 kilo set. That's going to change the price point. And of course, finding this stuff is difficult. Now, the benefit of the barbell in this respect too is you can add to it. So you could buy the 140 kilo set, work up to it, and then if you need more weights, buy more weights later. And you're not locked in like you are with the dumbbells. Okay, there isn't a cap per se that you have to make another significant purchase in order to get to the next level. Even though plates can be fairly expensive, you can still procure them at 10 kilos at a time if you wanted to. So buying a barbell and some plates is a valuable purchase. I did put it at number two, but it's kind of the bases for the last three. And so, without the barbell, the last three are useless. Okay. Number three would be a landmine attachment. And this may seem like, well, why a landmine attachment? Well, now you don't necessarily have to have a landmine attachment to go with the barbell. You could just do it you could operate the barbell without it, put it in the corner of a wall, put a towel on the tip of the barbell to protect the barbell on your floor and your wall. You could put a little dumbbell on the end of it. You don't have to have the attachment, but it gives you a little more stability when you work and does protect your bar, does protect your wall, does protect your floor from, grinding, with the barbell moving in a landmine attachment. But the landmine attachment gives you, again, a lot of opportunities for exercise variety. It could be argued you could buy a barbell and weights in a set and buy the landmine and accomplish a lot of the same things as a dumbbell system can. But again, I'm thinking about dumbbells being a little bit more user-friendly initially. Yes, there's more stability required in some cases, but you can do goblet squats and things like that, where even a landmine squat is a little different in terms of your spinal mechanics. It's a little bit harder to do. Just because of the lever system. Now, it's not impossible. I'm just saying it's a little bit harder. So that's why I put it down further. Some could argue, no, I think barbell and landmine would be a good thing. Well, you can just buy one set of dumbbells too and kind of get the same action. So again, cost efficiency and space efficiency definitely favors the dumbbell. However, I do like the landmine attachment as my third choice after the barbell and plates. A lot of great exercises, a lot of overhead, great overhead exercises, RDL varieties, single leg, rowing variety. Just a lot of options. So highly recommend the landmine. Really like landmine exercises. Number four after the landmine would be a rack. Okay. A rack. So the rack that you purchase, whether it's a rack, a traditional power rack with a pull-up bar, which would be great, or even a set of stands. So a set of squat stands from like Christian Fitness Factory. We have a set of those. They don't look like much. They look like they would fall over at any minute, but they're really sturdy and pretty good return on investment. They hold up. I don't know if they hold their value as much, but they hold up under a lot of beatings. We use them in our weightlifting club, and they've been, I've had 400 pounds off the safety bars off the front, and they didn't tip over. They look like they're about to. They didn't. So they're really sturdy. So, but then, and if all you have room is for stands, you can't have room for a full power rack. The stands are, they take a little bit used to if you're used to squatting in a rack, but you'll get used to them. But you can just put them tightly together and put them up against the wall. They're individual units. There are some that are larger, but I would recommend if you're going to do like a stand system, don't buy the larger stand rack. Either buy a power rack or buy the stands that are independent of one another, so they store better. But the stands allow you to bench, overhead pressing, squat varieties, right? It just increases the options for you. And so I would highly recommend some sort of rack, stands at that point. And the last one is a bench. Okay, a bench independent of like a bench press. You want something that you can move around. What I would tell you is it depends on where you are, like what space you have and what you want to do. But this is a piece of equipment that is oftentimes just an afterthought. Like, I'll just buy there's a brand of bench that I have. I bought the $50 one, but you get what you pay for, and it doesn't incline. And if it did, I wouldn't trust it. When I'm laying on my back on this tiny little metal sliver that's going to hold my big body up, plus some weight overhead, I don't trust it. Okay. And so investing in a good bench is really worth it. So yeah, you can do your dumbbell rows off of it and your triceps kickbacks and sit on it and do your post delts and all this other stuff. But when you go to bench, you're going to have something stable, and then you can incline it. And again, that just expands the opportunities for exercise variety, from rowing to side laterals to, of course, pressing movements. I mean, you name it, for the most part, the incline is going to be a valuable accessory to have. So investing in and paying a little more for a quality bench, a stable bench you can trust and lean on and lay on and work off of and adjust, is going to be worth it in the long run. And that's, the one that is typically kind of just an afterthought. Again, we think about resale of like a bench, it's probably going to be pretty bad. It's going to be pretty poor in a non-pandemic time. So that is one you might eat, right? Or throw it in with the barbell like you used to see before pandemic time. So that's my list. Adjustable dumbbells, barbell and plates, landmine attachment, some sort of rack system or a stands or something like that. And then finally, getting into a good bench to work off of. This is the bonus one, and it's only if you get the power rack, is the Spud pulley systems. The high pulley, the lap pull down one, the low pulley system, both, they're worth it. Yes, they're not as robust as a commercial gym, and I would highly recommend you buy some chain or something to help with the sway. Okay, but again, opening up your exercise options now into the cable realm is well worth it. There's some other attachments like the Black Widow attachment, the I think it's called lap pull down attachment. They have others too, but good for T-bar rows, single arm rows, lat pull down, V-handle lat pull down. That's another kind of bonus one, but that not as important as some of these other items I listed in the top 5. But those are some bonus things. There's all kinds of stuff out there. You guys know that's why you're watching this video probably. But that's what I would start with. Start with the basics. Don't get into some of these things that have limited function. That only exercise one plane of motion or one exercise, or are going to limit your ability to expand your exercise variety and or expand the loading options. That's what you want to avoid. There's no doubt that, in my mind, that dumbbells and a barbell are the foundation to any good training program. Okay, hope you found this valuable. If you like the video, leave a like, leave a comment below. If you disagree with me, you got any other options out there? I know there's so much stuff out there. I've seen lots and lots of late, and a lot of it's really good stuff. But I think this is a solid list to begin. All right, we'll see you in the next video.